So you want to quit your job to trade. You see people doing it on YouTube. You might know someone that does it. So you want to give it a go. Let's talk about it. I didn't want to do like a top 10 because I always feel like when you do that, you leave some important things out or you sacrifice some, little things that could help people, just to get to the 10 or, to stay within 10. So I don't want to do that. So you can't see them now because I'm going to talk about them. They're going to be revealed as I talk about them. But there's 13 of these, and they are arranged on things you should do before. The before list is a lot bigger than the after or during list. So the number one, having an edge in all market conditions, okay? This is pretty self-explanatory, but you have an edge if you're making money over the long term, okay? You don't have an edge if you make money on one trade or 5 trades, but over the course of a year, a couple years, you've been profitable. Months, you've been able to string together profitable months, weeks. You have an edge, okay? The best way to know that you have an edge is to be able to make money consistently all year round as the market moves through different cycles, okay? I started trading, unfortunately, in a very bullish market, all right? Toward the end of 19, toward the end, beginning of 2020. It was actually, the market was going down at the beginning of 2020 because of COVID, but then it went straight up from like April on through the end, right? Very easy to trade, very easy to make a lot of money, very easy to think, I'm going to quit my job and do this shit full time because this is great. I ain't got to answer to nobody, You have to be able to trade a bear market, a bull market, and a market where there's there's nothing going on. You have to be able to make money in all those markets. And if you can't do that, you don't have an edge. Or maybe you have an edge in a certain market, and you have to decide if you're going to be able to live off of those markets when they show up, right? So have an edge. That's number one. Number two, start by paying one big bill a month consistently. Okay, I got some examples here, like your car payment and insurance. My car payment and insurance, probably about $500 a month. My cell phone bill, all my cell phones for my household, probably like $250. Or buy food for the house. We spend about, I want to say $800 on food a month for the whole house. Start by paying one bill a month consistently, okay? And you might surprise you. This might be enough for you. This might be enough for you to not even want to quit your job. But it's definitely a good barometer of, can I pay this one bill solely through trading every single month on time without fail? Okay, can I do that? And if you can do that, start to add more bills. If you can pay the car payment consistently, next month, decide you're going to pay the car payment and the cell phone bills with your trading money, right? You will build the confidence, okay, that you can do this when you start that way. And I kind of started that way. That's why I'm suggesting it. I started by paying my car note every month, okay? I started by paying that $500 car payment plus insurance every month. And I did that for like 6 or 7 months. And then, I felt pretty confident that I could at least, the very least, I could pull $500 out of the market every month, right? It was a really good confidence booster. And it let me see that I could do this for a living. But going back to number one, that was in a very, very, very bullish market, okay? So let's go to number 3. Save up a year's living expenses minimum, all right? The only caveat to this rule is if you have a spouse or a partner with sufficient income to support your trading. Even then, though, I'd save up 6 months. Here's why, guys. You don't want to be under pressure, okay, to go into the market and have to make a kill. Okay, you don't want to be under that type of pressure to immediately have to make money, because whenever you got to make money, you're not going to make it. Okay, just being honest. Whenever you just, oh my God, bills are coming up and you have to make these, you're never going to make it. You're going to take unnecessary risk. It's going to mess with your psychology. And we always know I'm talking about guarding your psychology when you trade. Anything, any distractions, anything that's going to mess with you mentally, fix it. Get rid of it. Don't let it worry you, because it will affect how you trade. This game, guys, is 90% mental. It's 90% mental. Okay? And if you don't believe that now, when you start to trade full time, you will realize it really quick. Like it is damn near 100% mental. All right? Take the stress off of you and have a cushion. Just have a cushion saved up so that you can just focus on becoming the trader that you know you can be when you don't have a steady income. All right? I luckily had a little bit of this. I had a little money saved up, and I had a spouse that made enough money to support our bills. And I had paid off my mortgage. If you watch any of my other videos, I had paid off my mortgage before I started trading. So that was that's like a third of our monthly expenses taken care of. So, I was in a pretty good position, but I still wish I would have had a little bit more. And the more I think about it, I probably needed more than a year. Okay. But a good, just starting with, do not start with enough money in the bank to pay this month's bills and thinking, okay, I'm going to start pulling money out of. And if you're smart, you know this. Okay. All right. Number 4, have a good support system. So this is talking about your spouse, your friends, and your freaking mentor. If you don't have a mentor by now, if you don't have someone that's been doing this, okay, someone that has been doing it successfully, if you don't have an actual someone that you can talk to when you hit a rough patch, or someone you can run strategies by, or someone that you can, just talk to about the market, because trust me, your spouse don't want to hear about it. Okay, they don't. Your friends don't want to hear about it. It's too complicated. Okay, but if you can have a few people around you that support you, and I don't mean support you like, you want to talk about trading, but I mean support you in different ways. Like your spouse might be supporting you financially and emotionally. Your friends might be supporting you when it's time for you to get away from the market and go out and experience life. Your mentor might be supporting your growth. This is how you scale up. This is how you, add strategies. This is how you backtest. This is how you deal with a drawdown. This is, risk management, stuff like that. You're going to have different people that support you in different ways. Okay. And it's important that you identify these people, because the worst thing you can do is to not have them and then go looking for them when you have trouble. Okay? Because you're going to accept anything. You're going to accept anyone that wants to talk to you about trading, and they're not a trader, or they'll listen to you and they don't know what the hell you're talking about, or they've got more money than you and they're trading, so they'll tell you to take more risk. You know what I mean? So you have to understand where you are in your trading, and you have to build your support system. That's why it's called support. Build your support system to support where you are in trading. Because if you have support, guys, if you have a level of sophistication in the market, and you have people that will keep you at that level, it's easy for you to build from that level. But when you have a drawdown and you start to fall below that level, now you're in trouble. Okay? Because you have no one to prop you up. You have no one that's going to be there for you when it gets tough. And it will get tough. Okay? So the next part, number 5. Consider working part-time first. All right? Most people want to trade full-time because of so I'll give you an example. It wasn't about the money for me. Okay? If you watch any of my videos, you knew that. I make really good money at work. I was good at my job, so it was kind of easy. I didn't have a lot of bills, so I could save a big portion of my check, which is why I was able to trade anyway. So it wasn't about the money. After so long, money doesn't motivate you. And I know that's kind of weird to say if you're at the point where money's still motivating you, but when you get to a certain point in the income scale or in quality of living, more money doesn't make you, I could have a huge $1 million trade tomorrow, my lifestyle wouldn't change. To me, it was about freedom. Okay, it was about owning my own time. Okay, and I realized that, yeah, I do a good job and I get paid well for what I do, but I'm never going to make what I'm truly worth, because no one's ever going to pay you what you're worth, because there'd be no profit in it for them. If I make my company $3 million a year, they're not going to pay me $3 million a year, right? They're going to pay me a fraction of that. They're going to give a fraction of it to my benefits to keep me happy and healthy and coming in, free lunches or whatever you have at work. And then they're going to give me, a salary. And if my productivity increases, which it does over time if you stay in position and you get good, and especially, when you're good enough to be promoted, you're getting promoted because your skills have increased to a point where now you're worth a little bit more, okay? But if you can take everything that you're generating for a company and you can wrap it and you can take it for yourself, that is why I wanted to do it. I was like, I give myself 4 or 5 times a pay raise right now if I just quit my job and keep all of the, because I'm a very creative person. The things that I did for my companies that I work for, they are still using them today. I did them one time and they're getting value out of them over and over again. I wanted that for me. Why am I creating value for you every day? Right? So, but consider working part-time first. See how it is. Schedule, if you can maybe take a pay cut, do something else in the company, or you can schedule your job around trading instead of the other way around, instead of looking at your phone at work and trying to get a trade off. If you could just, schedule times you can trade. It doesn't have to be a lot of time a day, guys. Make it 4 hours a day. Ask if instead of coming in at 9, can you come in at 12? Can you work the night shift? There's plenty of ways that you can structure this, but consider working part-time until you get to a level where you know for sure that your trading can support your lifestyle. Okay? This next one, number 6, my biggest mistake when I got ready to leave. Don't tell your boss until you are absolutely ready to leave. Okay? You're absolutely ready to go. All right? Now, I had a boss that I had worked for. She was my boss through all my promotions. And we had a pretty good relationship. She was like a mother figure to me. And, I was excited about trading, and we talked about everything. And I just told her, hey, I'm thinking about leaving to trade. And she was like, oh, don't do that. You're doing great. You could have my job soon and da-da-da. I was like, I don't really want your job. I don't really want it. So basically, we had the conversation a couple more times. And then she really started looking for my replacement, right? Unbeknownst to me, but looking back on it, that's what happened. So long story short, and if you watch my story video, which I recommend you check out if you like me, you want to get to know me, they basically ambushed me. I gave them a notice. They made me extend the notice by about 6 months to help them out. And then 2 months later, or about a month and a half later, after I had, been counting on that income for the next 6 months, they called me in and said, hey, we think it's a good time for us to, part ways, and there's no need to drag it out, after begging me pretty much, to stick around for 6 months. So they kind of screwed me because now I'm scrambling for 4 months of income, I'm scrambling for an extra, fucking 30 grand, like, well, what am I going to do? I just redid the kitchen. I just, now I got to take money out of my trading. So it really hurt me that happened because she was really close to me. But I realized that my mistake was opening my mouth until I was ready to go. And really, as a boss, I would have done the same thing. That's what's so messed up. I would have said, okay, let's start looking for a replacement for this guy. And I probably would have told whoever it was, okay, we're going to start cutting your duties down, we're probably going to get you out of here. But I wouldn't have asked them to stay 6 months and then secretly, worked on getting rid of them. So they found someone to replace me that they thought was as good as me, which they were not, and they still aren't, from what I'm hearing. And I was cut out. So had I been ready to go that day, which I was ready to go that day, but when I realized I could have an extra 6 months of income and it would lead up to me leaving, I started spending that money on other things. I'm going to be in my house more. I want to make my house look nicer. Let me fix the kitchen. Let me take out this wall. Let me build a bigger living room, And it just, it didn't work out. I wound up spending basically my account money, my cushion, on things and didn't wind up having a job to support that. So I got off to a really rocky start. So don't tell your boss until you're ready to leave. Okay. Number 7, you got to have a large enough account to weather drawdowns, guys. Okay. They're going to come. They're going to come. You're going to have losing days in a row. Hopefully you have a weekly loss limit with your broker, and he won't let you go past that. You can set it up. I know TradeEvade has that feature. You're going to have a monthly loss. You're going to lose months in a row. You're just going to have the key is, though, when you're in drawdowns, and if you have a good mentor, he'll explain this to you, and your edge, and let me go back to this, your edge in the market is typically going to be how you manage risk better than anyone else. Okay? And this is going to come up later, so I'm going to keep pounding this into you guys. Your part of your edge is how you manage your risk. So if you're losing, you can't win a trade to save your life. You can't buy a stick of gum. Trade small, okay? Don't let the ego get in the way and say, I got to trade. I got to risk $500 on this. No, risk 100, risk 50, risk whatever you have to risk to get a freaking win, okay? To get the confidence, and then scale back up from there. Do not continue with the same risk size and risk units as you're losing money. And definitely don't increase it to get the money back. But this is all part of your edge. This is all part of your psychology. And if you're thinking clearly, if your bills are paid up, if you have someone to talk to, if you have enough money, you're not going to make these mistakes. Okay? So, but it'll really help if you have a large enough account to weather drawdowns. Now, what's a large enough account? I can't tell you. I'd have at least enough if you're trading options or stocks to get over PDT, which is 25 grand. If you're trading futures, you could probably get away with maybe 18 to 20 grand, based on what your bills are, it's going to vary. It's going to vary, but it's got to, if you think of what is a significant amount of money to you to trade with, and then double it. That's how I think of it now. Okay. So if you think, man, I could really make a lot of money just making, 1% a month with, 1% a week with $50,000 or $25,000, which is only $1,000 a month. But say it's 5% a week. Whatever your current metrics are, look into them and see what you need reasonably to risk to be able to weather drawdowns, because there's nothing like taking a bad loss and then finally seeing the trade that you should have taken, but now you're out of money, or worse, you're just mentally spent and then you don't take it, because you need to be able to take those trades. And you can do that if you have an edge and you've managed your money and you have enough money to make a couple of mistakes, maybe even a couple of big mistakes, and then pull yourself back. Because guess what? You don't have to pay bills for the next 12 months, right? Okay, next one. Realize that you have a high probability of failing at this. Don't be afraid to fail. Have a plan to get back on your feet. Risk reward versus probability, okay? So, this is hard, okay? Look at me. This is hard. This is hard shit to do, okay? Don't let anyone tell you that it's not hard. Don't let anyone tell you that it's easy. There may be parts of this that come easy, naturally to other people, different parts of it, but they're going to struggle, okay? And if anyone that tells you they don't struggle, I'd unsubscribe, and I wouldn't. Anyone that you go to their channel and you're seeing winning trade after winning trade and they're just having and just killing it all the time, don't trust that shit. It ain't real, okay? This is hard. Most people fail at it, all right? Knowing that lets you be easier on yourself. Okay, now you might be thinking, well, I don't want to do this and fail. I think I'm better than most people. So did I. So do I, right? I did not believe, though, that I would be, the best trader I'm ever going to be in day one or year 5. I always thought, and I have kind of that mindset of, it's a growth mindset. It's not a fixed mindset. Fixed mindset is you're born with, this much potential, and no matter what you do, you can never raise that bar. A growth mindset is you're born with this much potential, and the more skills that you bring on, you can constantly raise that bar and get better and better. That's my growth mindset, because I've done that in other areas of my life, okay? From my career to my weight loss to relationships to, money. Buying a house was a huge struggle for me on the salary I had at the time, but I did it. So I have that mentality that, okay, listen, I can make this, I can grow. I can grow from the point that I'm at. And a support system helps with that, okay? So all these are going to tie together, all right? But I want to talk about this risk reward versus probability. Now, this is important. I got this, this concept from Al Brooks. He talks about whenever you have the components of a trader, your risk, your reward, and your probability. And when you have a great area in one of them, the other area is going to be bad. So if you see a bull trend taking off, okay, and you wait 3 or 4 bars to get in, the probability of it going higher is high, okay? But your risk reward is going to be bad because your stop has to be all the way at the bottom of the move. because you don't know that the trend is reversing until it takes out that low or that candle. So if you're buying 5 bars up, your risk reward is bad, okay, because the price has to, you have to risk so much to win, but the probability of the trade working out is higher. Another video on this, I know it's a lot of plugs in this, another video on this, structuring high probability, structuring trade probabilities, okay? There's 2 parts to it. It's on my channel. Go check it out. I think you'll like it if you're, into that stuff. But so your reward, your risk for, this is how I thought of it. I could always go back to work if I failed and do what I was doing. I was good at my job. Anyone would love to have me, right? I could always go back and do what I did and collect my salary, my 100,000, 90, whatever, whatever it was. I could always go back and collect my money and have a steady job. The risk would be low. The reward would also be kind of low when you think about it, because I have someone that tells me where to be, how long to stay, what time to get up, what time to go to sleep. When you have a job, they literally control your life, right? Even if you have a little autonomy like I did, I could come in when I wanted, I could be in different places if I wanted, and that was more, that was a little bit better for my personality, but I still had someone, you see the phone ringing, you got to answer the call. This is the reward for me, now that I think back on it, is small. But the probability of success, it's there. It's almost 100%. All I got to do is do my job and I'll get paid every week, right? Unless I get laid off, which was very, very uncommon in my industry, I'm going to have a job. So the probability of success was very high, and my risk and reward were very low, or they were, really stable. The probability for trading, okay, is also very high, but the risk is also, the probability to succeed at trading is low, but the risk is high and the reward is high. So you're risking a lot. You're risking the money that you could be making working. You're risking the money that you're using to trade. Okay, you're risking all this mental stuff. But the reward, the payoff, is if you can get it right, it's going to be far greater of a lifestyle than you would be if you had a job, because you own all your time. Okay, so this is all the things that we talked about doing before. Let's talk about the after now.